Cheryl Miller is women's college basketball. This four-time All-American is deservedly the most recognized player of the game. This is Miller's last season at Southern Cal, and this is possibly the final tournament of her career. Insiders to the sport have many heroes, among them Western Kentucky's Lily Mason. She has won virtually every honor a basketball player can receive. She, too, is a senior, and we should relish her performance tonight. Impressive is an understatement. The future of this sport is here in the form of freshman from Tennessee, Sheila Frost. At 6'4", the game has obviously gotten bigger. She holds the Tennessee freshman rebounding and block shots record by a landslide. But there's still room for the small player in women's basketball. Texas guard Cami Etheridge at 5 feet 5 inches reassures us of that. She leads her team in assists and energy. Make no mistake, she runs the Lady Longhorns. These players and their teams are in Lexington, Kentucky because they've made it to the Final Four of NCAAW women's basketball. Tournament favorite. Last year, a buzzer basket by Western Kentucky stunned Texas at the Mid-East Regional. Tonight, they meet again. She won't admit it. They want revenge.
No, I don't think we can get involved in that. Our motivation has to be to play the way we play, and certainly we'd like to win, but we'd like to win a national championship regardless of who stands in the way. But we're going to show up.
Showing up in a big way for the Lady Longhorns are their guards. Number 33, Cami Etheridge, leads a fast break offense that has been unstoppable this year. One of her favorite outlets is number 10, Bev Williams. Williams makes things happen for Texas. With her tenacious defense, she has a knack for being in the right place at the right time. Western Kentucky has a lot of respect for them.
Well, if they show up, it could be a long night. They're a great basketball team. We would be honored to play them and just happy to be there.
The Hilltoppers deserve to be at the tournament. Western Kentucky also sports a textbook-perfect fast break offense. Add to that the prolific scoring of senior forward Lily Mason, and you have an omnipotent offense in the Final Four. The 32-3 East Region champion Western Kentucky Lady Hilltoppers will once again have to play giant killer as they take on the Midwest Regional winner, the Texas Lady Longhorns. They love their basketball in the state of Kentucky. How appropriate that these Final Four are being held in the house that Rupp built, Rupp Arena on the campus of the University of Kentucky. Hello, everyone. I'm Leandra Riley, and this is the first of two semifinal games that we have in store for you live on ESPN. Our first contest has Western Kentucky against Texas. Our second game, Southern Cal against Tennessee. But let's get to the heart of the matter, our first game. And let me introduce one of my personal heroes, the most knowledgeable woman about basketball, Mimi Griffin. Mimi, Western Kentucky has played Texas last year, but this year nobody has beaten Texas. They are 32-0. Can Western Kentucky do it this year?
Leandra, of course they can. They have proven that last year. Paul Sanford is such a shrewd coach. He took Texas's strength and made it their weakness. He took their pressure man-to-man defense and spread out his offense and made them play man-on-man defense and one-on-one basketball. And I think if anybody can do it, Paul Sanford can do it again this year.
Jody Conrad, the coach of Texas, says she's the underdog. How can you be the underdog if you're unbeaten, you're the number one team in the nation, and you're the number one seed in the tournament?
Well, let's look at the criteria for underdog. What happened in their last game? Western Kentucky won. Who has the home crowd advantage? Western Kentucky. And who has the experience in the Final Four? Western Kentucky. But I'll tell you what, I think Jody Conrad's trying to convince herself as much as she's trying to convince us.
So Texas, even though they're considered the favorite, Jody Conrad is not taking Western Kentucky lightly. We'll be back with our starting lineups and the tip-off between semifinal number one opponents, Texas and Western Kentucky.
National Car Rental presents 1985 as St. John's makes its first Final Four appearance in 23 years against Georgetown. When you rent one way from most car rental companies...
The national semifinal game is being brought
To you by National Car Rental. You deserve national attention. The road to the Final Four for our two opponents this evening was paved with 3 games for Western Kentucky. They defeated St. Joseph's, then the surprise James Madison Dukes, and finally for the East Region title, Rutgers. For Texas, they stepped on Missouri, climbed over Oklahoma, and had a rough go of it against Mississippi, but they're here, and that's all that counts. Now let's go to our public address announcer, Mr. Jim Engel, for our starting lineup.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Game 1 of the 1986 National Semifinals between the Western Kentucky Lady Toppers and the University of Texas Lady Longhorns. Now let's meet tonight's starting lineup. At forward for Western Kentucky University, a 5'10 senior from Chicago, Illinois, number 20, Annette Jones. At forward for the University of Texas, the 6'2 junior from Moscow, Idaho, number 25, Andrea Lloyd. At forward for Western Kentucky University, a 6'2 senior from Russellville, Kentucky, number 32, Lily Mason. At forward for the University of Texas, a 6-foot senior from Dallas, Texas, number 20, Fran Harris. At center for Western Kentucky University, a 6'2 junior from Bowling Green, Kentucky, number 31, Melinda Carlson. At center for the University of Texas, a 5'11 senior from Bay City, Texas, number 15, Annette Smith. At guard for Western Kentucky University, a 5'9 junior from Bowling Green, Kentucky, number 21, Clement Haskins. At guard for the University of Texas, a 5'8 sophomore from Del Valle, Texas, number 10, Beverly Williams. At guard for Western Kentucky University, a 5'9 senior from Bowling Green, Kentucky, number 22, Tammy Thomas. And at guard for the University of Texas, a 5'5 senior from Lubbock, Texas, number 33, Kenny Edwards. And now in his fourth year with the Western Kentucky University, the head coach of the Lady Toppers, Paul Sanderford.
Jody Conrad is the coach for Texas. As we mentioned, she is 32-0. She'll have her hands full tonight. We'll be back with the tip-off after this.
It's Intruder, chrome on chrome, stepped up seat, B-twin soul, but he don't care, he's got no doubt. It's Suzuki Man, let it all hang out. Sound and the Fury slung down low. Lean and mean, he's on the roll, but he don't care, he's got no doubt. Liquid cool, let it all hang out.
The 1986 Intruder, Suzuki Man, Suzuki Machine.
I saw this demonstration on TV, but I didn't believe it until I tried it myself. On this side, I feel a tingling sensation with Denorex. Here with Selsun Blue, nothing. The tingle tells me that Denorex is doing more.
Both have dandruff medicine, but Denorex adds an extra anti-itch medicine many dermatologists recommend.
Feels really good. Refreshing. So long, Selsun Blue. Hello, Denorex.
Denorex shampoo or shampoo and conditioner fights dandruff and its itch with an extra relief medicine.
Leandra, here are keys to winning as told to us by both coaches. For Western Kentucky, I'd like to point out that first point. Stop Texas transition while preserving their own. That's going to be very important because they're not as good in their half-court game as they are on the run. For Texas, look at the second point. They have got to establish their confidence and tempo early. Everybody talks about the pressure on this Texas team. Let's see how it affects them in the first 5 minutes of this game.
Texas wearing home team white. The Lady Hilltoppers, who have a 32-3 record, are wearing red. They definitely have a noise advantage in Rupp Arena. Annette Smith and Lily Mason. Annette Smith is 5'11", Lily Mason is 6'2". They are jumping for their teams. Lily Mason in red, number 32. And Texas gains the first possession, and it's immediately dished off to Fran Harris, who sets the tone for the Longhorns.
That's a great sign for Texas, Leandra. I said earlier, if they can get their first baskets on 3 layups off transition, it'll be important for them.
And we have the whistle against the Hilltoppers.
Let's watch this matchup early in the game. Annette Smith is guarding Lily Mason, number 32. They're both as quick as one another, but Annette gives up 3 inches on Lily Mason.
Texas gets the ball. This is Beth Williams. We saw her in the beginning of the show. That's exactly what she did then.
Leandra, another great sign for Texas. They look like they're loose. They're running their break well. Let's continue to watch this and see how it pans out. Texas Texas is in there, man-to-man defense, traditional man-to-man.
Number 21 in red is Clement Haskins. She's taking a shot from 15 feet, and it drops.
You would expect a leader like Clement Haskins to be the first scorer for that Western Kentucky team.
This is Bev Williams, number 10 in white, handling the ball, looking for help. Goes to Andrea Lloyd, number 25.
Look at the pressure of the man-to-man defense for these Lady Hilltoppers. Every bit as intense as the Texas.
Lloyd drives, and there's a scramble for the ball. The Hilltoppers come up with it, but turn it over. Once again, Bev Williams, the right place at the right time.
Leander, Andy Lloyd is going to be a key. She's number 25 for this Texas team. She's been hurt with knee problems, hasn't practiced for them in over a month.
Fran Harris with the turnaround. That's her second basket tonight.
Again, Texas is in their man-to-man pressure defense.
And that's good for Lily Mason. And we have a whistle call. Mason can't believe it.
Western Kentucky cannot afford to get one of what I call their big three in foul trouble. Cammie Thomas, 22, Lily Mason, 32, and Clement Haskins, number 21.
So Lily Mason has one foul for Western Kentucky. Annette Smith has one foul for Texas. Texas, home team white.
I think one of Texas's weaknesses last year was they weren't as strong in their half-court game as they were in their transition game.
Nice move inside by Annette Smith. It did not drop, and Western Kentucky has the ball. Nice screen was set up, and the ball goes in and out for Cammie Thomas. A scramble, and Texas comes up with it, but a foul will be called against Western Kentucky. Fran Harris is incredulous on that one.
The important thing with this point right here is that both teams look like they're loose, they're going to play. They're both going after the ball intently. They're not going to give any quarter in this game.
I don't know that I agree with that whistle. That was one of those two players diving for a loose ball. Inside to Etheridge, she passes to Harris. It works.
Great pass. What I was mentioning earlier, Texas's half-court game this year is much better than last year, and that's a big bonus for them, especially in this game tonight.
8-4 is the score. Texas in white is on top with 17.5 minutes left in this first half. Clement Haskins inbounding the ball. If her name sounds familiar, her father is a famous basketball player for Western Kentucky and later in the NBA.
Now that is a crazy call. What? I don't understand that one at all. Where was the harm there? No harm, no foul, as far as I care. I'm not even sure. I think it's on Fran Harris. Yeah, that's what they say, Fran Harris.
It's such a bizarre whistle. That's her second foul. Clement Haskins with the ball. And she turns it over thanks to pressure from Bev Williams, and Texas is coming down the floor again. Fran Harris stops. It drops.
That's one thing Fran Harris does so well. She has the green light to shoot from anywhere on the floor. Texas's transition game is on. That is a key right now for Texas.
10-4 is our score. Fran Harris has 8 of the Texas points, and they turn it over again under the hoop. But it goes out of bounds off the Texas fingertips of Andrea Lloyd. As you look at Paul Sanderford from Hilltoppers.
Now he's telling his team settle down. He thought maybe the Texas team would be tight, but it looks like the Western Kentucky team's a little bit tight.
Yeah, sometimes the home crowd advantage could hurt you. You feel like you have to perform because they're here.
Sure. That's a great matchup out front with Beverly Williams on Clement Haskins. That's quickness on quickness.
Melinda Carlson getting it inside.
Great. Mason. Oh, what a great move by Annette Smith. Establish her position early. Knew Lily Mason would lean in because that's one of her traditional moves when she gets the ball in the key, and just stood her ground, picked up the offensive. You can see here, and Annette Smith is probably one of the smartest defensive players in the game today. She really lost out when she hurt that knee, but she makes up for it by her smarts.
In the turnover department, Western Kentucky has 4 already in this game. Texas has none. This is Fran Harris, number 20, going back to Cammie Etheridge. Back up to Harris. This is Lloyd going inside. A scramble for the rebound, and the Lady Hilltoppers control it. Annette Jones gets credit with that rebound. And on the fast break, it goes to Cammie Thomas, her first basket.
You Number 22, Cammie Thomas, I feel, is a key to this Western Kentucky team. She's so steady. She did the same thing in the Rutgers game in the East Regional. She got them into the game early on with her shooting and her heads-up basketball.
And Fran Harris has gotten herself in big foul trouble. She has 3 already, and this game is only 3.5 minutes old.
One of the good things about Texas, though, Leandra, is that Texas has such great depth. You lose a great player like Fran Harris, but it's all right because Whitmish coming off the bench, number 34 for Texas, is just as good.
And we have a tie ball. That is one of the rule differences between men's and women's basketball. The women have elected to keep the jump ball. There is no alternate possession.
There's a dejected Fran Harris. She can't believe it either.
Texas comes up with it. Andrea Lloyd bringing it down the floor. Looking for Cammie Etheridge. Shoots from 15 feet. It won't go in, and the Hilltoppers get the rebound. Lily Mason bringing it down the floor. Number 32 in red. Hands it off to 21, Clement Haskins.
This is a smart move by Clement. She's settling her team down, giving them a chance to catch their breath and really set themselves up for the offense.
Nice screen set for Cammie Thomas.
They're not letting the Western Kentucky team penetrate, which is a key here because they're tentative on the outside shot.
And we have another turnover by the Hilltoppers. Yolanda Wimbish going to Lloyd. And its shot is blocked, so the Hilltoppers turn things around. That was a morale booster for the Hilltoppers.
It sure was. Both these teams really are tentative. Although Texas is running well right now, it's not the full force, speed, run, and break that they normally go with.
Annette Haskins, Annette Jones, Lloyd with the rebound. She goes long to Yolanda Wimbish.
Smart move by Wimbish to pull it up. She knew there was nothing there.
Cammie Etheridge, back to Wimbish. Lloyd, rejected by Carlson. Clement Haskins in a 3-on-1. Annette Jones back to Haskins. They lose it in traffic, and Texas comes up with it again. Sloppy pass gives it back to the Hilltoppers, and the crowd loves it. We are going to take a timeout. Our score, Texas 10, Western Kentucky 6. 14:43 remains in this first half.
Who says you can't love your work and the change of pace? Who says you can't have light beer with super premium taste? Michelob Light. Oh, yes, you can. Michelob Light. Oh, yes, you can.
Super premium taste and a less filling beer.
Michelob Light. Oh, yes, you can. Have it all.
May I help you?
Name's Kiefer. I reserved a car for the day. A Firebird.
It's ready and waiting, Mr. Keeper.
Your ordinary everyday car rental doesn't have to be an ordinary everyday car. Not when National Car Rental rents cars like the Pontiac Firebird for just $35.95 a day weekdays, $24.95 a day.
Makes the jumper.
That's what she does so well. She can shoot right over people and through people. And that's what she's going to have to do. This Texas team is so talented defensively. She's going to have to use every bit of her ability tonight.
That's tough for Lily Mason to be shooting over the likes of an Andrea Lloyd inside at 6 feet 2 inches. That's not an easy task.
Leandra, let's talk about the first 5 minutes of this game. Texas came out. They really ran well in the beginning, and they were scoring. When I say well, I mean that they were able to score from it. It's not their normal break, though. They don't really look like they're on top of their game right now.
As they were last year when they won, and their only meeting in the series between these two teams. Terrible time to have to do it, and that's in the regionals, but it happened, and Western Kentucky did it 92-90. And this is why our score is 10-6 in favor of Texas.
That's a very important statistic right now in this game. And there's the points-off turnovers. Look at Texas was able to capitalize on those turnovers. This Western Kentucky team, their last fast break, they had one too many passes. They're tentative. That's not a good sign for a transition basketball team.
Clement Haskins. Lily Mason having trouble penetrating. She's had this scramble before, and I think we'll have a jump ball.
Look at the help that the Texas team is giving inside when Lily Mason gets the ball. Beverly Williams was guarding Clement Haskins, the point guard, turned around, realized she could help out, and did.
Bev Williams and Lily Mason will jump.
This is going to be a defensive tap for Texas, obviously. There's a great height differential here.
Bev Williams, number 10 in white. Lily Mason taps it behind her. Clement Haskins gets it, and she's going to wait till her team is ready. Carlson.
Cammie Thomas is much more effective with her outside shooting than she is with a drive. You're going to need people like Clement Haskins or Lily Mason to penetrate for them.
And Clement Haskins loses it. And a bit of confusion on the defense there.
That's a good example of the matchup we were talking about earlier. Beverly Williams on Clement Haskins is quickness on quickness. You saw Beverly Williams get her hand on that ball and deflect it.
So number 33, Laura Ogles, enters the game while Lily Mason takes a breather.
You're going to see Western Kentucky put on some token full court pressure here on your 1-2-2 full court press.
Tammy Etheridge goes all the way inside and does it herself. It drops. That's her first basket of the night.
Let me point something out right here. History is being made, Leandra. Texas is not full court pressing. For the first time in Jody Conrad's 10-year career, they are not full court pressing.
And that was a surprise you alluded to in the opening of this telecast.
And I'll tell you what, it is affecting Western Kentucky. They don't know what hit them. They're looking for all kinds of heat, and they're not getting it.
Melinda Carlson draws her first foul. Team third.
Jody's got to feel good right now with the way her Lady Longhorns are playing. They're executing their game plan to a T.
And Western Kentucky putting some pressure on the Longhorns. Clement Haskins gets the whistle for reaching in.
Good hesitation dribble by Beverly Williams. She waited for the trap to come on right before it was set, went right through them, drew the foul.
And that's Clement Haskins' first foul.
There's Paul Sandiford. He is not happy at this point. You can tell that from the expression on his face.
And that's the fifth foul for Texas.
Western's going back now into it. Looks like a 2-1-2 or 2-3 zone.
Bev Williams from 13 feet. Her second basket. 14-6 with 13 minutes left in this first half. And we have timeout called by the official because some debris flew out onto the court. I believe it was unintentionally falling out onto the court.
It's the Texas cheerleaders, and the Western Kentucky fans don't like that one bit.
Lily Mason has come back into the game for the Hilltoppers, and they're going to let Melinda Carlson take a breather.
You know, at this point, it might even be a good idea for Paul Sandiford to call a timeout and sit his team down and say, okay, look, not what we expected. There's no full court pressure. Just run our game plan.
Lily Mason to Cammie Thomas. She goes all the way around, and it is rejected by Clarissa Davis.
That is what makes, and it was Clarissa Davis. Look at that body control.
Trust my eyes the first time. Lily Mason tries to get it in, and the Texas hand gets in there, and they're going to give it to the Longhorns.
Getting back to Clarissa Davis, there's so many coaches across the country when they play Texas, they're afraid when Clarissa Davis comes in. She is a factor.
You said Paul Sandiford should call a timeout. He heeded your advice. Our score, Texas 14, Western Kentucky 6, 12:53 left.
Always leaving home.
Well, along with Mimi Griffin, and Mimi, you said Coach Paul Sandiford of Western Kentucky has got to get his team to adjust to the lack of man-to-man defense that Texas is throwing at him.
Leandra, one of the things that Paul Sandiford does so well is he makes his opponents adjust to what he does. Now, all of a sudden, the shoe's on the other foot, and Paul has to adjust to no full court pressure. I'm sure he never expected this. But one thing about Texas at this point, they're fortunate in that they're able to score, fortunate for them, but they're still tentative, it seems to me. Their break is not running as smoothly as it normally does.
And they are shooting 54%. They are 7 of 13 from the field. Western Kentucky is only 38% from the field with 3 of 8. Bev Williams from the top of the key, in and out, and the Hilltoppers come down with it with Lily Mason.
Now, Western Kentucky needs to score here because it's only going to be a matter of time before Texas really starts to feel comfortable.
Cammie Thomas, number 22 in red, goes up top to Laura Ogles. And inside by Annette Jones, it doesn't work, it's rejected.
Look at Clarissa Davis once again. She is an incredible athlete. Look at the body control on this block from behind. It wasn't even her player. She came to help out, and block that.
Mason with the turnaround, in and out, and Texas gets it. Clarissa Davis with the rebound. Bev Williams to Cammie Etheridge.
Western Kentucky is back into what looks like zone defense, a 2-3. And Beverly Williams has the shot from the top of the key. Unfortunately, she's not comfortable right now to be able to take that.
Wimbish goes all the way across the paint to Etheridge, tries to get it inside. Williams comes up with a loose ball. Bev Williams, it goes in and out. There's a scramble, and looks like we're going to have a jump ball between Clarissa Davis and Laura Ogles.
Leandra, Clarissa Davis came to play tonight. She is contributing on both ends of the floor. You can see the shot go up here, and look at her get that rebound. She goes right back up, and it's rejected, but you know what? She doesn't give up. She goes after it and ties up for a jump ball.
Debbie O'Connell has entered the game for Western Kentucky, and taking the breather is Annette Jones.
Now, I would expect the Western Kentucky team to slow down just a bit. Debbie O'Connell is not as quick as Clement Haskins in running the offense.
Bev Williams to Cammie. Quick passing around, trying to shift that zone. And a dual rebound resulting in a jump ball between Lily Mason and Clarissa Davis.
And there's that number 24 for Texas once again, Clarissa Davis. She is coming on strong early for this team.
She sounds like a giant. She's only 6'1". I'm not saying that lightly, but you think she's 7'1" the way she's getting the rebounds out there.
She comes off the bench and averages over 12 points for them and over 7 rebounds. That's pretty incredible for a sub.
So Laura Ogles is sitting down. Melinda Carlson entering the game. Clement Haskins. Now, we've had quite a few personnel changes for the Hilltoppers. Are you surprised that Sandiford's used to the bench?
Well, I think what he's doing right now, they're not comfortable. He's looking for a combination that is comfortable.
Haskins with 2. That was comfortable. 14-8 with 11:14 remaining.
Clement has a great ability to really raise the level of play for her teammates. She can come through with a big play when they need it.
Etheridge from the outside, but Mason's hand is in her face, and the Hilltoppers get the ball.
Lily Mason needs to come on fire for the Hilltoppers, because if she does, it'll spark them. They're a transition team.
Nice head fake by Mason to get the ball to Clement Haskins.
Now we're seeing a little bit of the full court pressure that they expected.
And the lead pass by Haskins was just out of the reach of Cammie Thomas. Texas gets the ball.
This is not the same Lady Hilltopper team we saw against Rutgers. They are extremely tentative. Their transition game is not there at all.
Texas, quick passing. Yolanda Wimbish goes back up to Bev Williams, number 10. This is Etheridge inside. The turnaround by Clarissa Davis dances around. It will not drop, but Texas gets the rebound. And that follow-up basket by Annette Smith is good.
One of the things we point out earlier would be rebounding is a key for Texas, and they're doing that right now, especially on the offensive end. Here's the full court, or not full court rather, but half court pressure man-to-man defense for Texas.
Haskins swinging to the other side. She's good. 6 points for Haskins tonight with 10 minutes left in the half.
One thing that I'm impressed with so far with this Texas team is they're very patient on their half-court offense. Both transition and half-court offense are working.
Williams, it goes in and out, and we have a whistle. And I believe it's on Bev Williams. Yes, it is. Offensive foul.
One of the things that Paul Sandiford noticed when he plays a zone, or what he calls a passive defense, his transition game slows down a little bit. Maybe that's what's happening now. They've been in a zone for the past couple series.
As you saw, Melinda Carlson has left, and Tracy Patton, number 44, red, has entered the game. We also have a substitution for Texas. Fran Harris is back in the contest for the Longhorns.
Guess what? Full court press, it's back.
She's keeping Sandiford on his toes. Traveling call against the Lady Hilltoppers.
And that's what they're going to be able to do against Debbie O'Connell. She is a freshman and not as comfortable as a Clement Haskins, who's a junior and been in this situation. Pressure the freshman. Smart move.
Annette Jones has entered the game once again for the Hilltoppers. Exiting is Debbie O'Connell. 16-10. Texas is on top with 9:43 left in the first half.
We're still in the zone with Western Kentucky, a 2-3 zone.
Fran Harris.
Fran Harris is their outside shooter.
And the whistle is against Western Kentucky.
Looks like it was on Tracy Patton inside. they're just not, Western Kentucky's just not moving well. They're sitting in that zone and not moving their feet. They're moving their hands, and that's why they're getting the foul. They need to move their bodies as well.
And that's 6 fouls for Western Kentucky. The basket is good. Our score is now 18-10.
And here's the full court pressure.
And it drops for Annette Jones, her first basket. 9:12 remaining in the half.
And look at the pressure Texas puts on by running the ball up quickly, even though it's not a fast break.
Harris with the 16-footer. Rebounded by the Hilltoppers. And that's what Western Kentucky has to do, shut the door a few more times at that end of the court.
That's right, and also get into some kind of flow offensively. They're really disjointed right now.
I agree. Beautiful inside pass to Cammie Thomas, and we may have a morale maker with that.
That's what I call flow, a basic fundamental backdoor move. Great move by Cammie Thomas with assist from Clement Haskins.
Forcing the pass inside, but we have a whistle. And I think it's going to be on Tracy Patton.
You can see on this replay, the pass goes into the middle. Good position by Annette Smith, but look at the push with the body by Tracy Patton from behind.
So Andrea Lloyd for Texas will take a breather. And coming in for the Longhorns again is Annette Smith. You can recognize her by that hefty knee brace on her left knee.
The only thing right now that I'd like to see different in this game, Andrew, is these two teams are so talented. I'd like to see them have more fun at this point. They still seem tight to me, although they're scoring. They're not really in their flow yet.
Melinda Carlson is back in the game, and Tracy Patton with 2 fouls will cool off. Lloyd is waiting to come into the game for Annette Smith, who's at the line. And it's an air ball.
Now that is very uncharacteristic for the senior Annette Smith and captain of this team.
And there's a substitution. Lloyd was waiting to come in for Smith.
Now let's watch Andy Lloyd as she comes in. Let's see if she has her timing a little bit more than she had at the first half of this first half.
Paul Sandiford, the winningest coach in Western Kentucky's history. 19-14 with 8.5 minutes remaining.
Back to their man-to-man half-court pressure. Texas is pressuring Western Kentucky now.
Cammie Thomas tries to get inside, and the whistle's against Thomas for forcing it.
Now I think I'd have to question that call. Clarissa Davis came from the weak side. Look, it's a great help move by Clarissa Davis, but I think she bumped Cammie. I don't think Cammie bumped into her.
So it is her first foul. 14 fouls for them. From the top, Clarissa Davis.
I'll tell you what, it's a freshman right now that's doing it all for Texas. Clarissa Davis is scoring. She's getting great defensive plays. You can't ask for more from a freshman.
In and out, scramble underneath, and putting it back in the right place is Annette Jones, her second basket of the night.
And now Western put on their own pressure. Three-quarter court, 1-2-2 press.
A 5-point ball game with 7.5 minutes remaining. Andy Lloyd looking for help.
Andy Lloyd still looks disjointed out there. She doesn't have a good expression on her face, and she missed a pass underneath to Clarissa Davis, who was wide open.
Bev Williams.
Look at that move.
Inside to Clarissa. You're right. She's the hot one.
She is. You gotta love watching that player. She is incredible.
Texas scoring 10 points on those turnovers. Illegal dribble.
You never see Clement Haskins do something like that. The ball must be slippery. She's just not comfortable. Look at this move by Clarissa Davis. Look at the determination on her face. She goes inside, puts her defender right on her hip, and steps around.
11-1 is the turnover score, but Western has closed the gap a little bit. 23-16. 7 minutes in the first half remaining. Cammie Etheridge trying to set things up to Bev Williams.
We're back to the man-to-man defense for Western Kentucky.
Fran Harris now at the top, number 20. Clarissa Davis got inside.
I'll tell you what,
every time.
There's got to be some way to stop her, and Paul Sandiford needs to find out how to do that.
And now Texas is enjoying its largest lead, 9 points, 25-16 with 6.5 minutes remaining. Haskins from the outside. It dances and drops.
Now, Beverly Williams cannot leave Clement Haskins alone like that, especially at the top of the key, one of her favorite spots.
Clarissa again inside. But the rebound goes to Cammie Thomas.
Now, this is just extremely unusual for, I have never seen the Western Kentucky team walk the ball up this much in a game.
They're thinking. Haskins goes to the other side, in and out, and Andy Lloyd gets a rebound for Texas. To Harris, who tries to go around her defender, who was moving, a moving block, and the whistle's on Cammie Thomas, her second foul.
That was certainly a key call, because Fran Harris, it might have been interpreted that she pushed off with her forearm, because look right here. You see that? That could have been called either way. Fortunately for Texas, it was called on Western Kentucky. Fran Harris is one of their key players, one of their key outside scorers. They need her.
Coach Jody Conrad, the winningest coach in Texas history, three-time Coach of the Year. And coming back in for Texas is number 22, Gay Hemphill. It's her first appearance in the game.
One of the things that Texas is able to do with this great depth that they have is give their players a rest every now and then. Clarissa Davis is hot right now, but, you know, put her on the bench for a couple minutes, let her catch her breath, come back in, and be another spurt for this Texas team.
Fran Harris at the line. Conference Player of the Year last year.
For Western Kentucky, number 25, Susie Starks.
And now Susie Starks has entered the game for her first appearance in this Final Four.
It seems like Paul Sanford of the Western Kentucky team is still looking for the right combination. I don't think he's quite found it yet, and he's switching his players in and out quite frequently.
And she sinks both ends of that 1-and-1.
For Texas, number 15.
Re-entering the game now is Annette Smith. And Fran Harris will take a breather.
Again, we have some full court pressure by Beverly Williams on Clement Haskins.
Just over 5 minutes remaining in this half. The Hilltoppers in red, Texas in white, and through a peculiar set of passes, the Longhorns, or the Hilltoppers, get a basket. Starks. That was the strangest piece of offense. Bev Williams from the top. No.
Again, Leandra, it's not, nothing is flowing here. Neither team is really able to run their offense well.
Bev Williams does not like the whistle, but then they never do. That's her second foul.
I don't think Jody Conrad can believe that one either. But she's saying, just don't worry about it. Just play the game. We're all right. Texas defense, they are throwing 2 and sometimes 3 players on the ball handler. They're putting so much pressure on the player with the ball that Western's having trouble finding the open player.
And we may have a record for turnovers if this pace keeps up. 27-20, 5 minutes left in the first half. 12-1 is the turnover score. Bev Williams turns around and it drops. Oh, I gave credit to the wrong person. That was Gay Hemphill with her first basket of the night.
Gay Hemphill is instant offense for Texas, and that's one of the things she does so well is get right in the paint there, turn around, put it up.
Haskins to Carlson. Yes.
You know, Melinda Carlson for Western Kentucky is a number 2 guard in a big person's body. She loves the outside shot. We're back to the man-to-man defense by Western Kentucky.
Inside to Hemphill.
Looks like an instant replay of last time down.
And they don't miss a beat. Even though Clarissa Davis is on the bench, Gay Hemphill has certainly picked up where Clarissa left off.
Here's the pressure defense by Texas again. Look at that help. That's what Texas is doing so well.
The ups and downs.
You lose your defender, all of a sudden you turn around, there's another one. And that's what causes turnovers like walking.
31 for Texas, 22 Western Kentucky. 4 minutes, 16 seconds remain.
National Car Rental presents an NCAA Championship Classic. We'll relive the 72 basketball semifinal matchup between Florida State and North Carolina after this.
Booster team to a championship.
Leandra, the Texas defense this afternoon, or tonight rather, is really on its mark. Look at this help. Look at Annette Smith come from the help side. She's right there. No foul, great positioning. That's going to be a very telling factor. If Western Kentucky cannot figure a way to look for the open player, they're going to be in trouble. And there's the turnovers. Look at that differential, 13-2. And look at the way Texas is capitalizing on it. It's one thing to force turnovers, it's another thing to capitalize on it, and that's what Texas is doing.
Kelly Etheridge passes it to Andy Lloyd for Texas. Up to Bev Williams. Back over to Etheridge, and the pass goes nowhere because we have a whistle against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. This is Susie Starks drawing her first foul of the evening.
Western Kentucky is back in their 2-3 zone, and I just don't think Western plays a zone as well as they play man-to-man. It's unfortunate that they can't find the right combination because they are having trouble just doing anything at this point well.
Western Kentucky in the bonus situation, so going to the line, shooting 1 and 1. Gay Hemphill missing the first end of it. Incidentally, Texas is not in the bonus. They only have 5 team fouls. Inside 4 minutes. Texas on top by 9 points. Andy Lloyd with the rebound when Lily Lazen's shot didn't drop.
Look at the rebounding. That is a key to this game.
Ooh, I would call traveling. No, they're going to call pushing against Starks again. Or Haskins.
I think it's Clement Haskins. Is that her second foul, Leandra? That's a key call right there.
You're right, Haskins.
Again, I feel this could be called any way. Either way, rather, it looked like Clement might have had position there. Gay was out of control. Texas got a break on that call, I think.
Gay Hemphill at the line. Shooting 1+. In and out.
That's unusual for her to miss that. She's shooting 71% from the free throw line. We're seeing some more full court pressure put on by Texas right now. The one thing about this Texas defense, it's almost an NBA man-to-man.
Stark's shot goes in and out. Hemphill gets the rebound.
By that I mean they sag so much it almost looks like a zone.
Bev Williams from the corner.
I'll tell you, if a couple of Texas outside shooters get on the mark, Western Kentucky is in big trouble. They're already in trouble at 11 points down.
And this is the largest lead that the Longhorns have had, and the turnover happens again. Bev Williams goes coast to coast.
Paul Sandifer better call timeout. He cannot afford to have the Texas team get into their transition rhythm.
What did you say? Paul Sandifer better call a timeout? That he did. Our score, Texas 35, Western Kentucky 22. We're at the 2:59 mark of the first half.
Texas is starting to get into their transition rhythm, Leandra, and that is a bad, bad sign for Western Kentucky. Look at this pass right here. Up court to Beverly Williams, and in the basket for 2. I'll tell you, if Beverly Williams gets a hot hand, or if Fran Harris gets a hot hand for Texas, Western is in for a long, long night.
I think it's too late. I think Bev Williams already has a hot hand. Now, Western Kentucky as a team has improved from the field. They're up from 38% to 50%, making 11 of 22. Texas has held the status quo with 52% shooting from the field.
But you know what? The story right now is turnovers. Western has 14. That's their average for a game, not for a half.
And, of course, the more important fact is that Texas has scored 16 points off those turnovers.
That's right. Look at this Texas. I hate to say this, but I think they're in a zone.
Annette Jones penetrated for 2.
That could be the second time this season that Texas has played a zone. The only other time was in the Baylor game earlier. Now Western is back to, well, okay.
Andy Lloyd up to
Bev Williams.
In and out. Hilltoppers rebound it. Willie Mason goes all the way for 2.
Smart move by Paul Sandifer. He's giving the Texas team a different look on defense and forcing them to adjust.
And we have a player down at the other end of the court for Texas.
It's like Beverly Williams.
Yeah, that would be a big loss if she has to sit down. They will sit her down for the rest. Clarissa Davis will come in.
Yeah, but you know what? You lose Beverly Williams, but look how hot Clarissa Davis was for you. Let's see what happened here with this play and see if Beverly had position or not. Well, I don't know. That's a judgment call. I think the referee made a good call, but look at the way Lily Mason jumps over the defense.
35 to 26. 2 minutes and 8 seconds remain in this first half.
Looks like almost like a 1-3-1 defense. No, I'm sorry. It's a junk defense. They're playing man-to-man on Cammie Etheridge.
Bev Williams.
And that defense isn't going to work if Beverly Williams continues to shoot well from the outside.
And the inside, and the corner, and the top of the key.
That's because it leaves the whole top of the key open.
Clemette Haskins goes over to Cammie Thomas.
One of the things Cammie Thomas did in the Rutgers game was shot well from the outside, but this pressure defense doesn't allow her to do it.
Mason gets inside for 2. Her 6th point of the 8th game. 37-28. Less than a minute and a half. Lloyd drives the baseline for an easy 2 that won't drop.
Andy Lloyd is really off her game. She's really having trouble. She's going down the court shaking her head. But it doesn't matter because the rest of the teammates are picking up for her.
Lily Mason again with 2. Nice move inside.
Tremendous athletic move by Lily Mason, and she's going to have to take control if they want to get this team, or this score rather, closer.
Bev Williams gets it to Clarissa Davis, and the Longhorns score 2.
That certainly stops this crowd from yelling.
39-30, 40 seconds remaining in the half. Whistles on Clarissa Davis.
That's a good call. The only problem right now with Western, Lily Mason is talented enough. Clemette Haskins is talented enough to go one-on-one. But they need to include all their players if they're going to win this basketball game. 2 players can't do it against this Western team. Great call by the official there. Obviously, Clarissa came from behind and pushed Lily Mason.
Sharon Ottens has entered the game for Western Kentucky. Lily Mason's going to cool off before the half. Remember, we're not in the bonus situation yet. That's why we're not at the line.
And I think Paul wants to save Lily from picking up another foul before the half.
Clemette Haskins gets it despite a lot of pressure from Texas. Her 10th point. 39-32, 24 seconds.
I am not sure at all what happened there. Oh, it was a
lane violation.
I didn't even hear the whistle.
It's pretty deafening in here.
It really is, especially when the Western Kentucky fans get going. And here they go. They want that last second shot.
Shot clock is off. 13 seconds remain in the half.
This is very important to bring them to within 5, which is not a bad deficit to go in with at halftime.
Haskins with the roll. Yes. 1 second left. And the desperation shot is wide left. Texas 39, Western Kentucky 34 in the first half of this semifinal contest to get to the championship. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
American Express.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sharon Smith. We will take you back to Rupp Arena in Lexington in plenty of time to have the second half of action in the semifinal game between Western Kentucky and the University of Texas. Texas, of course, unbeaten going into this game and are favored to win the tournament. Western Kentucky only 5 points behind at the half, so a good performance so far for Western Kentucky. In the
right now, the Longhorns hold a 5-point advantage, so it got a little closer before halftime. Our score 39-34. Mimi Griffin, let's talk about, first of all, some of the things that have happened right for the Hilltoppers, and you have to talk about Lily Mason.
Well, you do have to talk about Lily Mason. She's a tremendous athletic talent out here. And I think in this first half, we're seeing a great basketball display by both Lily Mason here, going inside. Look at the move around the defense. And also a display by Clemette Haskins on the outside. Here you can see Clarissa Davis for Texas pinning her player on her hip and going around. She's a freshman. You got to keep that in mind. A freshman is doing it all for Texas right now. Here's Clemette Haskins, as we were discussing earlier, number 21. She's putting on a tremendous basketball display from the outside. Look at this ability. Spin dribble and into the basket. But Western really needs to play team basketball. 2 players can't do it for this team. The whole team has to work together.
talking about Texas now, they have kept Paul Sandiford on his toes. We have seen them throw a zone defense. We have seen them drop their man-to-man, pick it back up. What kind of adjustments do you think they're going to make in the second half to keep Sandiford on his toes?
Well, the interesting statistic that we noticed, Leandra, is that Western Kentucky is beating Texas on the boards, 20-12. That's hard for me to believe, because if they are beating them, why aren't they running? I think it's because Texas is playing great half-court defense. Paul has to realize he's got to get his transition game in gear, because that's when his team is most comfortable.
So Jody Conrad just has to give us more of the same, and Paul Sandiford has his work cut out from 39-34 is our score in our first half of this first semifinal. We'll be back with the second half in a moment. Western Kentucky out of it. From the field, they were shooting 38% when the half opened. Then they climbed to 51%. And as we take a look at the halftime stats, they are now shooting 61%. So Western Kentucky very much in the game. But the reason they're losing is at the bottom.
Look at the turnover statistic, Leandra. 14 turnovers in the first half. That's what they average for an entire game. And then look at points off turnovers. We've said this in the first half. Texas is taking advantage of things that are given to them. Rebounds, though, is a good sign for Western Kentucky and something they'll have to continue in the second half.
Rebounding and shooting percentage. Texas has been holding above 50% shooting the entire game. They've been steady out there, but Western Kentucky had to settle down. The leading scorers for the Lady Hilltoppers. No surprise with Clement Haskins' 12-point performance. Lily Mason with 8. Jones and Thomas, it's pretty even from there on out.
It is, but look at the fouls. There's a little bit of trouble there with fouls. And it's their top 3 players like we were discussing earlier. They are a team of 5 players, but the 3, Cammie Thomas, Clement Haskins, Lily Mason, they're their top 3 scorers. And they need them in the game, especially against a team like Texas.
For Texas, Clarissa Davis and Bev Williams are pacing the Longhorn attack with 10-point performances each. Fran Harris also has 10, 8 from the field, 2 from the foul line. And here you can see some of the several thousands that are on hand to watch this contest. For Western Kentucky fans, it's about a 3-hour drive from Bowling Green to Lexington.
There's a Texas Longhorn fan. He looks like he's still in Texas with those shorts on.
Western Kentucky, 2 for 3 when they trail at halftime this season. Now, that's interesting. So they have come back twice to win it in the second half, but 3 times they could not.
Don't mess with Texas. Look at those cheerleaders. Look at the bench scoring as well. Look at Texas, and you know who that is? Clarissa Davis, the freshman. She is just really providing the spark for them when they need it.
It has been said so many times about the Texas team that their bench could be seated in the top 10 of the nation, just their second 5. And we are ready to begin our second half.
As we start this, I would expect to see more of the same from Texas, a lot of different looks on defense.
For Western Kentucky, in red, Clement Haskins starts things off with a bang. 2 points in the second half, 14 on the day.
Good sign for Western Kentucky to get a transition basket early.
They're within 3. They can shut the door here. The pendulum might swing the other way. Bev Williams, Fran Harris on the outside, in and out. Loose ball. A scramble. Western Kentucky gets it stripped away by Fran Harris. Harris with a second chance. It still won't drop. Clement Haskins with the rebound.
Fran Harris is going to have to contribute for this Texas team tonight. If she doesn't settle down and get into her rhythm, Texas is going to have problems.
The last time Western Kentucky was within 4 points was at 8:49 in the first half. That's when the score was 18-14 in favor of Texas.
Texas is back in their man-to-man half-court defense. Look at the help from Andy Lloyd. Came from all the way over the weak side.
Lily Mason getting it back out to Clement Haskins. The long shot is short. And we will have a jump ball.
This is not a good sign for Texas. They came out and they're still tentative, Leandra. There's no reason for this team to be tentative. They played well in the first half. They should build on that momentum, but they're not. There's Jody. She's looking for a little bit of help from the bench right now, trying to decide which of these players would help the most.
Paul Sandiford liking the way the second half has started for him. Lily Mason and Annette Smith jumping. Hilltoppers control.
One of the things about this Texas defense, they're trying something new here that they just instituted for the playoffs. It's called double down defense in their man-to-man. From the weak side, the player will come to double down low on the player who gets the ball on the block, which is down by the basket.
Lily Mason looking, goes out to Clement Haskins, into Cammie Thomas, turns around, and it will not drop, and the whistle is against Texas.
Now that call I don't agree with. Cammie Thomas established position. And again, it was a great example of that double down defense. Player got it down low. Cammie Thomas
Kimmy Etheridge
came from the weak side and established position. Now what was the call, Leandra? I thought they called it.
They did.
Oh,
it was Cammie Thomas.
We had it
We
right.
convicted Cammie Etheridge, and Cammie Thomas has now picked up her third foul.
Western is playing a junk defense. They're playing man-to-man against Cammie Etheridge, the point guard.
Ned Smith goes in and out, gets her own rebound.
When I say junk defense, I mean not your traditional zones. 2-3, 1-3-1, 2-1-2. It's a variation of that. And this is, it looks like a diamond one to me at this point.
In and out. Texas with the rebound. In and out again. Hilltoppers come up with it. Cammie Thomas up to Clement Haskins.
Leandra, again, not a good sign for Texas. There's no reason to miss those shots.
Lily Mason with a turnaround off-balance shot. It's good.
I'll tell you what, if she's going to make shots like that all night, they cannot afford to let her get the ball in the middle. Front her. Don't let her get the pass in. Now, Texas is very, very tentative in their half-court game.
They're 0 for 3 at that end.
Jody might consider taking a timeout to just settle the team down and tell them, all right, look, it's a game. Let's go out and play our very best.
The last time Western Kentucky was within 2 was way back when the score was 6-4. 39-38. Let's see what happens. The turnover is forced. The whistle's called.
Bad sign for Texas. It's on to Ned Smith. One thing Texas is not doing right now.
Our score, Texas 39, Western Kentucky 38 with 17 minutes, 13 seconds remaining.
Who can't have it all? Who says you can't love your work and change your face? Who says you can't have light beer with super premium taste? Michelob Light. Oh yes you can. Michelob Light. Oh yes you can.
Super premium taste and a less filling beer.
Michelob Light. Oh yes you can. Have it all.
I tried.
Lily Mason going to the line for the Hilltoppers. And she shoots better than 78% from the line.
Texas was smart in calling that timeout, Leandra. And let's see after this foul shot by Lily Mason if it makes a difference in the way they're playing.
And for the first time, the score is tied in this contest. Fran Harris to Cammie Etheridge. Kara Pretty is in the game for Texas for the first time.
They're still in that junk defense, the diamond and one with the one player guarding Cammie Etheridge, number 33.
Clarissa Davis with her first basket in the second half.
And again, the freshman comes to the forefront for them.
Melinda Carlson to Cammie Thomas. They get it inside to Mason. She pivots. And the scramble still for the rebound with Texas. Clarissa Davis getting the ball.
Leandra, they can't let Lily Mason just get that ball uncontested. They have to deny her inside.
Fran Harris going around Carlson. Carlson rejects it. All alone is Fran Harris in a 2-on-1. She goes all the way by herself and can't do it. Texas rebound.
Texas bench can't believe that when they thought there had to have been a foul in that driving layup by Cammie Etheridge.
Clement Haskins goes all the way. It won't drop. The foul is called on Fran Harris.
Now this is really a bad sign for Texas. They are not comfortable once again. Here comes Etheridge on a transition game. She's driving to the basket all by herself. She might have considered passing off here. She had two people on her. Now again, Lily Mason, she put her right on the floor. But then we go down the other end, and Western Kentucky is getting into their transition game. It's a bad sign for Texas.
Shooting, too, is Clement Haskins, normally a 71% shooter from the line.
You know, Paul Sanford doesn't look all that happy for his team having come back from a deficit of 11 like they were.
Now they're down by 1 point, and we're inside the 16-minute mark.
Looks like we're back to our 2-3.
Demi Etheridge
Western Kentucky.
up to Harris. Kara Pretty gets rejected by Mason. Clement Haskins comes up with it, and they went out of bounds on the dribble. The turnover goes in favor of Texas.
This Western Kentucky team is doing a very good job defensively in their zones in this second half. You can see they had Kara Pretty guarded very well. She went up with a shot. Clement Haskins certainly can't understand that call.
I think her foot was out of bounds when she initially took possession of the ball.
Western Kentucky's back in their 2-3 zone.
41-40, Texas on top. That was Kara Pretty, I believe.
Now that's an unusual call. We'll have to look at this again and see just what Kara did in that case. Here's Clarissa Davis driving into the middle. Oh yeah, she did. She used her body to throw the defensive player out of the way.
We have 3 team fouls on Texas. And Texas is ice cold shooting. They're 1 of 10 from the field. Quick math tells you 10%.
Bad sign. It's another Texas foul.
Andy Lloyd.
Texas is not playing anything like they want to. Look at the way Mason gets position on the rebounding board. She takes the one dribble, coils herself. Andy Lloyd just reaches for the ball. Her timing is really off in this game.
Kara Pretty blocks that pass. Texas comes down with it. Lily Mason, and that is big trouble.
That was really a big break for Texas because Tammy Etheridge was driving for the fast break. I don't think she had an outlet pass there. And unfortunately for Texas and for Cammie, Lily Mason fouls her inside. That is bad for Western Kentucky.
4 fouls on Lily Mason. That's what makes it particularly bad.
Lily Mason and Clement Haskins, as we mentioned earlier, are putting on a tremendous individual basketball display for us tonight. If they lose one of those players, Western's in trouble.
Cammie Etheridge can't sink the first one.
Her teammates are coming out here to offer some encouragement. Something's got to turn around for this Texas team. Western's playing great defense right now, and that's what's really stopping them.
And the second one drops. Texas once again ahead by 2. Clock starts ticking at 15 minutes left in the game.
Texas is back to their half-court man-to-man pressure. Western is flowing a little bit more on their offense. They're moving better than they were before.
Mason looking to Haskins.
There's less than 10 seconds on the shot clock.
7 seconds on the shot clock. Haskins turns around. It won't go in. Lloyd comes up with it.
Good rebound by Andy Lloyd, and a key rebound. They need to score in this possession to give them a little bit more momentum.
Texas ahead by 2.
There's a
Harris.
shot.
She had it.
She does have it. She has a green light to shoot. She's obviously not comfortable tonight.
Andy Lloyd inside, pivots. It drops. Her first basket of the afternoon.
That is really unusual for Andy Lloyd. She's averaging almost 10 points a game. For her only to have 1 basket by this time is extremely unusual.
Lily Mason getting fronted by Kara Pretty. Tammy Thomas goes inside to Carlson. Lloyd strips it away, but draws the foul in doing so.
The problem here when Andy's playing defense is her left hand goes after the ball and hits the ball. She gets all ball. Look at the expression on her face. Do you think she's comfortable in this game? She got all ball on that with her left hand, but her right hand was on the body and pushing, and that's why the foul was called.
Carlson at the line for 2.
Melinda Carlson, 6'2" junior from Bowling Green, shooting for Western Kentucky. 60% shooter.
She's got great rotation on that shot. She is, as I said earlier, a wing guard, a shooting guard in a big person's body. Unfortunately, she has to play inside because she is 6'2", but she has a great shot outside.
And the second one doesn't drop.
Somebody on this Texas team has to get comfortable with their perimeter shooting, or else they're not going to be able to break this zone.
And they heard you, Fran Harris from the outside.
And Fran Harris, if she comes alive, can do it. They can break. No team can play them a zone if Fran Harris or Beverly Williams comes alive for them.
Linda Carlson over to Cammie Thomas. Up to Lily Mason. She penetrates inside. And they're going to nail Clarissa Davis with the foul.
Good driving move by Lily Mason. She realized that she had the opportunity inside. Look at the way she gets positioned in the paint. By that I mean in the key area. She takes that big first step and goes right up, lets them foul her.
Laura Ogles has entered the game for Lily Mason. Clement trying to get around Etheridge, goes to Ogles.
Now that's what Cammie Thomas did so well in the Rutgers game, and Texas has got to keep pressure on her to avoid her from getting hot from the perimeter. And there we go. Point, counterpoint.
48-43, 13 minutes remaining in the half.
You know, it's very unusual and something I don't think either of these teams has seen all season. Both are doing a very good job of making the other play a half-court game. They're not half-court teams, they're transition teams. And as a result, neither team has been 100% comfortable in what they're doing tonight.
Susie Starks in for Annette Jones. Starks 2 points in the evening. As I said, 13 minutes left in the game. Texas up by 5. Cammie Thomas handling the ball over to Clement Haskins. Linda Carlson loses it to Clarissa Davis.
Let's see the magic she performs down here. Oh, not quite as good as the bunny out of the hat trick.
I don't know if I would call that magic.
No, not that time. Oh, maybe
Clarissa Davis wants to try it again.
Look out.
It worked. Clarissa Davis providing her own instant replay.
Clarissa Davis is not one to live with her mistakes for very long. She's going to make up for them right away.
Texas ahead by 7, their biggest lead of the half. And Paul Sandiford has got to stop the Longhorn Express. Our score, Texas 50, Western Kentucky 4-3. 12 minutes, 10 seconds left in the game. Sunday, when the Buffalo Sabres host the Boston Bruins in a big Adams Division playoff battle. They're just a few points separating Boston and Buffalo and Hartford. Boston has only won one game this year against the Sabres, so they're 1-3-2 against that team. Let's look at the Adams Division. All of these teams are idle tonight, and both teams need the points between Buffalo and Boston to stay alive in the Adams Division. It happens Easter Sunday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Leander, here's the instant replay of the Clarissa Davis steal previous to this one, but this is the good replay because for Clarissa, this is the one where she scores.
And we missed an inbound pass and a turnover. Nothing major. We'll inbound the ball again with Western Kentucky. Clement Haskins, Lily Mason back in the game.
The difference right now is that they are doubling on Lily Mason.
And that left Susie Starks wide open.
Great heads-up play by Lily Mason. She realized she had two players on her, looked for the open player on the weak side of the basket.
Harris head fakes. And Mason has gotten another whistle. Now this is her fourth foul. We had to correct our... Last time I said that was her fourth foul. This one is her fourth foul now.
Fran Harris is coming alive for Texas. This is what you normally see a Fran Harris do. She goes up for the shot, and Lily gets her in the air. That's what Fran Harris has been doing all year for them, getting the points as well as drawing the fouls, getting the other key players in foul trouble.
Tracy Patton will come back in for the Hilltoppers. You can bet your bottom dollar Lily Mason's going to have a seat.
She's not sure what to do.
She doesn't want to sit down.
No. I'll tell you, with 11:47 left in this game, though, Paul Sandiford knows he cannot afford to lose Lily Mason right away, or at any time, for that matter.
Fran Harris at the line. Shoots 78% from the charity stripe. In and out.
This team is just not on their game tonight. A 70+% free throw shooter missing a shot like that is just unusual and a sign that they're not comfortable.
And Ogles gets the whistle. That is her first foul. Neither team in the bonus yet.
Look at Andrea Lloyd calling for the weak side pick to come across, and now she's pinning her player down low and going baseline, which is the hardest area to defend.
Andy Lloyd going up top to Cami Etheridge, who will set things up.
Western Kentucky's back in their 2-3. Again, let's look for the perimeter shooter, Fran Harris.
Swish.
That's a bad sign for Western Kentucky. I don't know if they'll be able to stay in this 2-3 for very long.
And Cami Etheridge knows she was a little too aggressive in her defense there. Back in the game is Annette Jones for Western Kentucky. Susie Starks will have a seat.
One of the unusual things in this entire game, not just the second half, is that when one of these teams seems to pick up the momentum, they can't keep it. They're having trouble keeping it for more than 2 or 3 series at a time.
And we are in the bonus situation. That was the 7th foul as Clement Haskins sinks the front end.
Clement Haskins is the player that Paul Sandiford would like to have the ball if a last-second shot were needed for Western Kentucky. Let's see if that is the way it pans out at the end if this game is close.
Ogles has left and Linda Carlson back in for the Hilltoppers.
We're still in the zone for Western Kentucky, 2-3 zone.
Clarissa Davis goes back to Etheridge, who penetrates. Davis tipping it.
Great play by Clarissa Davis underneath. First she goes up for the tip-in. I can't believe this is a freshman. She goes up first with the tip-in. You can see the play here. Cami Etheridge makes a good penetration move. Here goes Clarissa Davis with the tip-in. Look at that. Look at the body control. Gets her own rebound, goes back up again, draws the foul, and they're inside players.
Tracy Patton draws her second personal foul. Western Kentucky as a team has 5.
One of the things that Texas does so well is they just bang it inside at you all night long. So it's hard for the opponent's inside players to stay in the game because of foul trouble.
Dana Cunningham in for Western Kentucky. And Tracy Patton, with her 3 fouls, will have a seat.
You can tell that Texas is effective in banging it inside because Paul Sandiford is still trying to find the right combination, especially with his inside players.
And the second one doesn't drop, and the whistle is called quickly off the bench on Dana Cunningham.
Now that's a key foul because that leaves the momentum in Texas's court. Let's see if they can capitalize on it with this series.
Andy Lloyd. As you look at Lily, she's ejected with 4 fouls.
She wants in this game. She doesn't want to be sitting on that bench.
Sandiford has to save her. Oh, Harris almost loses it. All the way across.
Sloppy. Really sloppy. I just don't understand why neither team wants to take control of this game.
10:43 remaining in the game. How long would you keep Lily Mason on the bench if you were Sandiford?
Well, the team needs a spark, but I don't want to lose my key player. They're only 8 points behind right now. A transition team can come back from behind by that many.
The turnovers have slowed down for Western Kentucky in this half. They've had a lot better ball control. Cami Etheridge is trying to fire her team up to take control, but she can't do it single-handedly.
You know, it looks like that ball might be slippery because Fran Harris, when she got it, looked at it and wiped it off on her jersey.
Etheridge from the outside.
Cami Etheridge can score. Everybody thinks she's just the floor leader, not a scorer, but she was a scorer in high school and had to change roles when she came to this Texas team. Bad defense.
Oh, Lloyd comes up with it. Annette Jones' basket does not go in. Clement Haskins.
Very interesting series, Leandra. There was bad defense here because Clarissa Davis just lets her, this is like the Matador defense, lets her players go right on by her baseline. Heads-up play here, though. She saves the ball, but look at Andrea Lloyd. She is not comfortable running this break. She's looking for a player to pass it to and runs right into the Western player. Now, that could have gone either way. In Texas's favor, though, it was against Clement Haskins, one of Western Kentucky's top 3.
And that's her third personal foul, so she, too, will take a seat. Debbie O'Connell will come back in the game for the Lady Hilltoppers. Andy Lloyd steps up to the line for the first time.
Now, let's point out here, Lily Mason's back in the game. Let's see if Texas goes after Lily Mason.
Annette Smith is also back in the game, but for Texas.
This is going to be an interesting matchup inside. Texas knows they've got to get Lily Mason out of the game.
This is a 1-1. Both teams in the bonus now.
Lily wants to play. She wants that ball in play right now.
But she has to be conservative.
Look at that tip.
Beautiful. Too bad it didn't go in. Clarissa Davis gets rejected from behind by Cammie Thomas. Thomas hooks it, but too far to the left.
Bad sign for Western Kentucky. They're running their break, but you don't miss layups like that.
Annette Smith backing things up. Goes to Fran Harris while Texas sets up their offense.
Again, they're in a zone. Fran Harris is open at the top of the key all night long if she's comfortable with the shot.
And she hasn't been taking it from there. Now she penetrates. And again, a beautiful tip by Clarissa Davis, and this time it drops.
Third time's a charm, Leandra. That's the third time she tried that tip.
And once again, for the second time in this game, Texas enjoys a 13-point lead. We're at the 9-minute mark. Western Kentucky is going to talk about it. 60-47 is our score. The Lady Longhorns on top by 13. 9 minutes left in the game. And this happy Longhorn fan is number 1 right now. His team, Texas, owns a lead of 60-47. Now coming up, just ahead on ESPN, SportsCenter will update you on all of the action from the world of sports, including we'll have Bob Lee and Dick Vitale giving us a report from Dallas, Texas on the men's Final Four basketball playoffs. And then we'll have a preview of tonight's NCAA Hockey Championship semifinal between Harvard and the University of Denver. And then Mimi and I will set the stage for our second semifinal game between USC and Tennessee. It's a live coverage of both games of the women's semifinals here on ESPN. But we are still very much embroiled in the first semifinal contest between Texas and Western Kentucky. What is Paul Sandiford telling his team to come back and make up this 13-point deficit?
Paul Sandiford's team is a transition team. A 13-point deficit is not too much to make up in 9 minutes. And earlier in the timeout, you had the Texas fans screaming, "We are number 1." The game's not over yet. A transition team with a spark, if they can get their game running. If they can't, they're in trouble. Well, they're in trouble right now because a 13-point deficit is bad in any case, but they've got to do it now. They can't waste another minute.
9 minutes left in the game. Lily Mason from the top. And a beautiful follow-through by Cammie Thomas puts it in. Texas 60-49 for Western Kentucky.
We're back to the jump defense by Western Kentucky.
Clarissa Davis tipping it again, getting the rebound and putting it up again.
She's just jumping over everyone. She has come to play tonight.
And what physical shape she's in to just keep jumping and jumping and jumping as she has for both halves.
Well, when you play on a transition team, you've got to be in good shape.
Ogle shot doesn't drop, and we have a scramble under the basket with the whistle.
We've got some more subs coming in, looking for the right combination once again. Look at the position by Lily Mason underneath the board. This is not a good move by Clarissa Davis. This is a freshman move. She didn't have position. She was not going to stop Lily Mason from shooting. And she drew the foul. Lily was smart to go right up with it. She drew the foul.
3 fouls on Clarissa Davis. Lily Mason sinks the first.
She is 78% free throw shooter. She's got great rotation on the basketball. Watch this as this goes up to the basket. And the reason rotation is good is because if you're off one way or the other, that rotation is what spins the basketball into the basket.
In the last 6 minutes, 45 seconds, Texas has outscored Western 21-11.
We're in our junk defense again. A diamond and 1. The 1 is on point guard Cammie Etheridge.
Lloyd pivots, doesn't like it. Dishes it off to Davis, who gets it inside to Bev Williams, or Annette Smith rather, and basket's good. That's her first basket of the second half.
Western Kentucky is not going to catch up in their half-court game. If they don't get their transition game going, they're done.
Lloyd reaches. Her pass to Bev Williams is too long. Turnover.
Andrea Lloyd is not a happy camper at this point. She's just not comfortable. It's a shame that a player this great goes through an entire season like this and then comes to a championship game. She really wants to play well and just is off her timing.
And senior Sharon Ottens has entered the game for the Hilltoppers. Melinda Carlson takes a seat.
Texas is back under pressure. Man-to-man defense, half court.
Mason inside, it's good.
Cammie Thomas was very smart. Didn't hesitate for a second to pass that ball right into Lily Mason, who had her player pinned to her back.
Clarissa Etheridge almost lost it there. Driving the baseline. And she'll get to shoot.
Is that her fifth foul? Is that Lily Mason's fifth? Looks that way.
Yes, that's it.
Well, I don't know, Leandra. That is an incredible loss. I don't know if Western Kentucky can come back without Lily Mason in the game. Here's the isolation. Clarissa Davis, and this is what we talked about earlier. They're going to go right at Lily Mason. Great move. I can't believe how smart this freshman is playing in this game. She doesn't feel any pressure. What pressure?
14 points for Lily Mason tonight. 15 points with the free throws. And Lily Mason has 1,002 rebounds for Western Kentucky. Has she contributed to that team?
One thing, Leandra, I don't know if you saw the display down there by Cunningham, but that is what sport is all about. Her teammates give her encouragement, give her a hug, and let her know, hey, you played your best. We love you for it.
A long 7 minutes remain for Western Kentucky. Clarissa Davis sinks the front end of a 1-and-1.
You know, I think this is the first time I've seen a Texas player smile. Bev Williams has a smile. It's the first time in this game that they've shown that.
Took the thorn out of her side.
Sure it did.
From the line tonight is Clarissa Davis. Texas 66, Western Kentucky 53.
Got the full court pressure back on. Texas pressuring Western Kentucky. As I mentioned earlier, Western Kentucky's not going to be able to catch up in a half-court game.
Traveling on Tracy Patton, and she dished it off to Cammie Thomas. She stutter stepped.
It's not their game. It's not what they're used to.
Western Kentucky, number 31, Melinda Carlson.
20 turnovers for Western Kentucky. Melinda Carlson comes back in the game while Sharon Otten sits down.
The interesting thing, though, is let's see if Texas loosens up any and really starts to play their game now that Lily Mason is out of the game and maybe feel a little less pressure.
Beautiful pass inside, Annette Smith. And draws the foul.
Now, look at the smiles. Look at Cammie Etheridge smiling. Look at the smiles on the Texas bench. That is the way Texas plays. Look at Cammie Etheridge penetrating very well into the paint. She sees the open player who has position on her defender and goes right in. Annette Smith is so smart. Look at the position she gets here on Tracy Patton, number 44 inside. Goes right up because she knows she has Patton on her back.
And the free throw doesn't drop. We'll have a jump ball between Tracy Patton and Clarissa Davis.
You know, you can feel a big sigh of relief coming from the Texas end of this court. The whole bench seems to have come alive now.
We should mention that Tracy Patton was the player who caused the last foul, and that's her fourth foul, so they may lose another one on the Hilltopper side. Tracy Patton jumping right now in the tie ball situation with Clarissa Davis. Andy Lloyd tips it up to Cammie Etheridge. Bev Williams tries to drive it inside.
Oh, there.
After some traffic, it drops.
I don't know if she's allowed. It seems like she tipped the ball to herself there. A pass to yourself.
I think Western Kentucky got a finger on it.
Oh, okay. That's legal then. I think we might have a technical foul here.
Yes.
Yep. Paul Sanford is not happy, and he is expressing that unhappiness. one of their star players on the bench. Paul Sanford might have drawn that technical to try to get this team fired up, but I don't see it in their eyes. I don't think it's going to work.
Clarissa Davis at the line.
Look at that form. Tremendous form.
4 out of 5 from the line tonight is Clarissa Davis.
There's a dejected Western Kentucky bench.
71-53, 18 points is the difference, the largest Texas lead of this half. 6:25 left in the game.
Western's back into their passive 2-3 zone. You gotta love this freshman. I gotta tell you, in the beginning of the year, when the word got out about how good Clarissa was, people in Texas used to come to Texas practice pre-season just to watch her.
In the last 15 minutes, Texas has outscored Western 32-13. Sharon Ottens.
Here's the effort by Sharon Ottens down low, goes up strong with the basket, and draws the foul. Good effort by Sharon Ottens. They've got to go right at the basket. They've got to attack. One thing they haven't done all night is attack, and that's what they're used to. That is their normal game plan. They've been extremely tentative.
Annette Jones will take a seat. Bridget Combs enters the game for the first time. Number 23 is, you look at Sharon Ottens, 6'2" senior from Seabury, Kentucky.
Sharon Ottens is averaging 2.2 points per game and only 7 minutes a game. Now, is that a happy bench? Do you think the pressure's off?
Do you think they're even talking about the game?
I'll tell you, I don't know what they're talking about. All I know is that they are happy at this point, and they haven't been for a long while. Jody Conrad mentioned that nothing has been easy for this team in the playoffs. They couldn't even get their nets cut down in the Midwest region. They had dull scissors.
Scissors were too dull. Bev Williams.
Texas wants to use the clock right now. That's to their advantage.
Andy Lloyd inside, dishes it back off to Etheridge. Takes it herself. 6 points from the field for Etheridge.
That's a sign of a great player. She kept her cool, used her pivot foot until she was free, and took a shot.
Lynette Haskins from the side. She's only scored 2 baskets in the second half. She now has 16 points from the field.
Looks like we're back in the man-to-man defense for Western Kentucky. Texas is still really sloppy. I don't expect that from them.
Traveling is gone.
With the pressure off them right now, Leandra, what they need to do is settle down and run their game plan so that they can take some momentum from this game into Sunday's game. They've got to play well to go into Sunday's game with confidence.
Well, it's certainly a credit to them that playing as disjointed as they seem to be, they're still enjoying such a hefty lead. Brian Harris back in the game for the Lady Longhorns.
Now there is a dejected Lily Mason. She has nothing to hang her head about, though. She is a tremendous player.
I think she's frustrated more than sad. There's nothing she can do to help her team at this point, having fouled out.
I think you're right. The entire Western Kentucky team has done a tremendous job this season. They were the Rodney Dangerfield of women's basketball coming into this.
No respect.
Tournament. I got no respect.
And that's a quote from the coach. 20 points for Clement Haskins already tonight. She's having an excellent game.
Now run your transition game, Cammie. Get them into the flow. Good pressure by Western Kentucky.
To Lloyd.
Great
and from behind by Melinda Carlson. She's been a nemesis for Lloyd all night.
She really has. She is an unsung hero. The kind of things she does do not show up in the statistics, so people tend to overlook her. But she's a great outside shooter, and she's a good intimidator inside, as evidenced by that block.
That whistle's on Susie Starks. Annette Smith will go to the line. Annette Smith's knee kept her out of the Olympics. You can see that hefty bracelet she has to wear.
It's so fortunate for the Texas team that she was able to come back. There were a lot of people that didn't think she'd even be able to walk normally again, much less play basketball with that knee brace.
It was, as you said, a walk-threatening type injury.
That's just a credit to her determination. You know, at the press conference, she mentioned she was being grilled by the press about, well, you're not really as good a player as you were before. And she said, I know, but you know what? I have my health. Now there is a young woman with her priorities straight.
She also said, I have my teammates who have picked up the slack.
That's exactly right.
Haskins gets rejected by Annette Smith. Scramble for the ball among Lloyd, and the whistle will be on Western Kentucky.
This Western Kentucky is not going to give up, I'll tell you that much. They are going to go after every basketball in every situation.
Sharon Otten's her first foul.
A team like this didn't get to the Final Four.
Andy Lloyd, who's going to the line right now, her parents live in Alaska. Sitka, Alaska, I believe is the hometown.
That's right.
To start this season off, she and her father went fishing up in Alaska, and their boat blew up. They had to jump into the water, swim 40 yards to shore in the freezing waters of Alaska. Tell me that girls are made of tough stuff.
What I was saying earlier about Western Kentucky, Leandra, is that a team like this did not make it to the Final Four without being a tremendously talented, fine basketball team. One of the pressures that, or not pressures rather, but points that we made earlier is that the key to this game would be for them to be able to preserve their transition game. And it's one thing they haven't been able to do tonight.
Etheridge forcing the turnover, and we're going to call that a jump ball. I think Cammie Thomas deserves to gain possession of that one.
She sure did. She's a little incredulous over that call, thought she was fouled. How'd I end up on the floor, she wants to know.
I guess she tackled herself.
You know, you almost wish that these Final Four games, with the pressure that's put on these teams, you almost wish it could be played underneath a two-way mirror so the crowd could see, but the players couldn't see the crowd, so it doesn't affect the way they play. It's unfortunate that they don't display their very best at a time like this.
From the corner, Cammie Thomas. Another Lloyd looked a little calm.
Texas is still sloppy, though. That's not good for them going into Sunday's game.
3:35. And, of course, Sunday's game will be the winner of Southern Cal and Tennessee, which is coming up next. Immediately following this game, we'll have it for you live right here on ESPN. Inside, Clarissa Davis.
The thing that separates Clarissa Davis right now from anybody else on the floor is she is moving constantly. She's moving to meet the passes. She's moving for rebounds. And that's why she finds herself open so many times.
3 minutes. 12 seconds left in the game.
Look at that.
Clarissa Davis again. She's making a mess of my score sheet. The finger roll goes in and out. Carlson with the rebound.
It's just about the only thing she's done wrong all night, Leandra.
Well, she had the missed magic trick, so we'll give her 2 mistakes, but that's not bad. Substitution for Western Kentucky.
Look at that bench scoring. 28 points by Texas and only 6 from Western Kentucky. And with all the substituting that Western Kentucky did, they just never found the right combination. No one was able to contribute enough for them.
You removed the bench. And Western Kentucky's in the game. The depth of Texas. There's Davis again. Whoa, from behind. The foul is called. Cammie Thomas.
She's getting a little sick of these breakaway layups. She was going to do something about it. One thing that all the Texas players do well, look at the lead pass from Andrea Lloyd. Great lead pass, and by that I mean puts it in front of the player so that she doesn't have to break stride, so that when she's running, she just picks the ball up on her way and goes right into the basket.
Clarissa Davis, Parade High School All-American, Miss Basketball, 1985.
She was Jody's #1 recruit last year, and as far as Jody's concerned, there is no better freshman in the country, and I'll tell you what, is she proving it tonight?
She sure is. Well, she's convinced me that she's certainly one of the best in the country. Do you think she's the best? You've seen just about every team in the top 30.
I think she has contributed for this Texas team more than any other freshman, I would have to say, because this is a team with depth, and yet a freshman on this Texas team can come in and be one of their leading scorers off the bench.
Is she the best in the nation?
Oh, now you're really putting me on the line. We have tremendous, and we're going to see a couple in our next game. Sheila Frost for Tennessee. Now, there's another one.
Bridget Gordon for Tennessee, but that's another story. In this first semifinal, she's definitely the outstanding freshman.
And last week, Sue Wicks for Rutgers, another great. Oh, I'm sorry, she's a sophomore, but she was a great freshman.
Annette Jones, number 20. 5'10" senior out of Chicago's Marshall High School.
She comes from a great high school program. Dot Gators is the coach there at Marshall High School, have placed players on many of the top teams across the nation.
I played for Austin High School, which is about, if you know Chicago, it's about 8 or 10 blocks from Marshall High School. Marshall has a tremendous history in sports.
Look at that.
Annette Smith gets a standing O from the Texas Longhorn fans here in Rupp Arena, and a congratulations from her coach.
Now that's a happy camper, I'd have to say.
Andy Lloyd at the line. Shooting 1 and 1.
Let's put Andy's story in perspective right now. She has not played well tonight. But the reason is, in her defense, her knee has been bothering her now for about a month and a half. She has not practiced with this Texas team for probably some time since the middle of February.
And that is because the doctors told Jody Conrad, you can have her for practice, you can have her for the game, but you cannot have her for both. Her knee simply will not take it. She's not playing with pain, but the fluid and the swelling has to get iced down every time she's out here. So you're right, timing suffers from that.
That's what it does. It hurts her timing.
So Andy Lloyd will rest her knee in preparation for Sunday's final against the winner of Southern Cal, Texas, coming up next.
Clarissa Davis had 2,759 career points in high school. Now, is that a score?
High school.
Oh. She was also an all-state volleyball player. You can tell by the way she can leap. I bet she was a hitter.
She's an academic and athletic award winner, so she's smart both on the court and off. Sinking both ends of that 1 and 1. Texas now enjoys a 14-point lead with 2.5 minutes left in this semifinal contest.
We're back seeing the full court pressure by Texas. And they're still in their man-to-man defense.
Tammy Thomas won't go in. We'll have a tie situation.
One thing this Texas defense has done tonight is it's really negated Cammie Thomas's outside shooting, which was a big factor in last week's Rutgers game. I'll tell you, this Western Kentucky may be out of it in scoring, but they're not going to give up. It doesn't matter.
They're not quitters. Cunningham jumping for the Hilltoppers, but Texas comes up with it and steps out of bounds. No. Texas gets it.
Western Kentucky's playing a man-to-man defense now. Smart move. They got to put as much pressure as they can on the ball.
Inside 2 minutes.
She is unstoppable.
Clarissa Davis.
Unstoppable. Look at that pressure. It's like a swarming beehive.
Clarissa Davis with the rebound.
Look at her get up for rebounds.
Brad Harris inside.
Now this is the Texas team that I'm used to seeing all season. They're running well. Their transition game's in place. The pressure's there.
I think they've relaxed. There's a minute and a half left.
Well, I guess they would with a 28-point lead.
Dana Cunningham looking for help. Sloppy pass goes back to Clarissa Davis. 1-on-2 situation. She decides to wait.
Smart move.
Rebounded. Well, Cunningham at least got a chance to redeem herself. To the corner. Annette Jones inside.
Good move by Cookie Jones. That's what she's done very well all season. She's a great driver and penetrator for the Western Kentucky team.
around the waist. Now, Annette Jones has managed to stay out of foul trouble. She's the only one for Western Kentucky who really has.
Number 32, C.J. Jones for Texas just checked in, Leandra. She's one of Jody Conrad's favorite players. Jody says she makes her smile.
So has Audrey Smith and Paulette Magel as Jody Conrad clears the bench to give everybody playing time in the 1986 Final Four.
If that Smith name sounds familiar, Audrey is Annette's younger sister. They're both seniors this year because of Annette's redshirt year.
And if Cammie Etheridge sounds familiar, it's because her sister Chris is one of the assistant coaches with Jody Conrad and a former player.
It's a family affair at Texas.
Rebound and a follow by Susie Starks. 35 seconds. And the whistle's on Kim Taylor.
Leandra, listen to some of these statistics for Clarissa Davis. She's 12 for 20 from the field, 8 for 9 from the free throw line, 18 rebounds, and 32 points. That's off the bench. She came in with 14:43 to go in the first half. Unbelievable. You asked me earlier, is she the best? Tonight, she's the best freshman in the country.
Jody Conrad has never been to the Final Four. You can't tell me there isn't vindication in her heart. What made last year's loss to Western Kentucky a bitter pill to swallow was that the Final Four was held at Austin, and Texas thought they would be there, but Western Kentucky changed those plans. That's why Conrad is back with a vengeance.
Jody felt that she not only let her university down, her city down, the state down, but also women's basketball, because they thought it'd be a great crowd draw if Texas were at Texas for the Final Four.
Knowing Jody Conrad, she thinks she let the president down. Annette Smith will not drop Western Kentucky on a scramble. And Texas throws it away. 6 seconds left. 5, 4. We're going to end with some sloppy basketball. It may not have been pretty, but it sure was effective. Texas 90, Western Kentucky 65.
We're talking about multiple high fives.
Hey, these kids jump so high. I could never reach that handshake. You said it, Mimi Griffin. Western Kentucky has nothing to hang their head about. They played a fine, fine season. Final score, 90-65.
Stud of the Week is brought to you by Pepto-Bismol.
Back as you take a look at Jody Conrad getting some advice from her sports information director, or sports information director getting some information from the winning coach who now heads into the championship final. Jody Conrad savoring a 90-65 victory over Western Kentucky. When we come back, we will talk not only with Coach Jody Conrad, but with standout freshman Clarissa Davis after these messages from our sponsors.
It's me again to tell you all you...
You try and get it right this time.
Okay, Mr.
Go ahead.
Alzado.
Go.
Sports Illustrated not only gives you unbeatable weekly football coverage, they'll knock you over with their big 1986 College and Pro Football Spectacular.
And it is spectacular.
Oh, it's filled with football. Full-color football. A bright look at the players and teams and the games they play. It's lots of great stuff you won't find anywhere else.
And you won't find this anywhere else either.
You also get the famous annual swimsuit issue. As always, a beautiful preview of what's new under the sun. It's all yours. And by ordering now, you get over 40% off the cover price.
Give him 50.
50?
Over 50.
Okay, you get over 50% off the cover price. So you'll get 27 issues at the low basic rate, payable in 3 monthly installments of only $9.79. So every week you get the timely, colorful covers that only Sports Illustrated gives you. What more could you want? Just call this toll-free number and you...
Jack, I got something for you.
Free?
Free.
You also get free this handy 1986 Major League Baseball schedule.
And this.
And this great commemorative pin. It's free, too.
Yeah. And this.
Hey, it's a chronograph. So it works as a stopwatch with split-second timing. And also as a calendar, giving you the day and date, plus it's a clock with digital readouts of the hour, minute, and second. It's all that, all in one.
And what else is it, Jack?
It's fun.
Right. Right, and it's free.
Free? This great chronograph is free with your paid subscription.
Right.
With Sports Illustrated, you not only get a lot of sports, you get a lot more.
And a lot of it's free. But to get it all, you better call now.
I do what he says. It won't take long. I'll time you.
Right. Call now. 1-800-321-9900.
It's free, too.
Welcome back to Rupp Arena. Our final score once again, Texas 90, Western Kentucky 65. So the Lady Longhorns are headed into the final against either Tennessee or Southern Cal. I am joined right now by the leading scorer for the Lady Longhorns in this performance, the freshman Clarissa Davis, 32 points. That's a season high, and if you ever have to be hot, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, I think it is, and I felt like our team really came together, and we played well as a team, and I felt like I had to go out there and play especially well for our seniors. They're really hard workers, and I really love them, and even though it's my freshman year, I feel like I've been on the team for 4 years, and I just really love them, and I love our team. And I think we came out and did a great job.
You showed a lot of confidence and a lot of composure for a freshman, and there were other members of the team who weren't quite settled into their game actually throughout the contest. What kept you so calm?
Well, it's just me being a freshman. That takes a lot of pressure off because I'm expected to make mistakes, and so I don't really have the pressure on me, and I just want to go out there and just to contribute any way I can. And if I score 2 points, if I score 32, it doesn't matter to me as long as we win.
We did a fine job tonight. Let's take a look at some of the highlights for you, and this was a fine pass from Andy Lloyd to you.
That's a great pass. Andy's a really good passer. She can see the court, and I think a lot of the people on the teams can see the court, and we're a really unselfish team.
Clarissa Davis, not only are you a great basketball player, but you're very humble about your abilities. You give credit to your teammates when you yourself had such an outstanding performance. Good luck to you in the finals. Right now, let's move over to Mimi Griffin, who's standing by with one happy lady, Jody Conrad.
Thanks, Leandra. Jody, history was made tonight. Not only have you made it to the championship game for the first time, but for the first time in your 10-year career, you did not full court press from the beginning of the game. Give us the significance of that.
It goes back a long way, Mimi. It goes 33 games ago when we lost to Western Kentucky in Bowling Green. Disappointing loss. You always spend time analyzing what happens in those losses. I decided we needed to be a better half-court team. And as the players got better ball handling skills, that's where it was. And we've worked all year for this particular game. The chance to prove that we were a great transition team, but that we could play half-court with anybody.
Well, in a word, it worked, didn't it? Are you surprised that a freshman contributed so much in this semifinal game for you?
I'm not surprised the contribution that Clarissa Davis made. She is a great talent. I think I knew that when she signed on at Texas that she was going to have a big impact. The only thing about freshmen is that you don't know what they're going to do when, but tonight she did it all and all at the right time.
All right, Leandra, back to you.
Mimi, I have to get your final thoughts very quickly on this game. We were both surprised that Texas, although they didn't play a very calm contest, they certainly did the job with a big victory.
They sure did, and you know what? It was a shrewd coaching move by Jody Conrad to come out. It was a risky move because she's never played the half-court defensive game before, but it worked.
It certainly did, Texas defeating Western Kentucky. Now, just ahead on ESPN, Sports Center is going to update you on all the action from the sports world. First, we have Bob Lee and Dick Vitale. They'll report on the men's Final Four from Dallas. We also have a preview of tonight's hockey championship, the semifinal game between Harvard and the University of Denver. And then Mimi and I are going to set the stage for our second semifinal game, that, of course, being between Southern Cal and Tennessee. Sharon Smith is also going to update you on the NHL, the NBA playoff places, and then, of course, we'll be back for that second game. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and the sorry face of the Western Kentucky players is almost disappointing. They should be holding their heads up high for a fine job. Hook 'em horns will be flashing again here on Sunday as Texas defeats Western Kentucky 90-65. They will meet the winner of Tennessee and Southern